So you can see instantly, you can see that. Instantly, as I open the app, you can see that 0.84. You can see that dropped 0.84. You can see that. And then let me show you so you can see the AHT 0.72. You can see that instantly as soon as the app is opened. You can see that 0.72 and 0.84. You can see that. So now I'm connecting back. You can see that I'm connecting back to the computer because I've been working all day trying to pull data out. And you can see that. The reason why we are trying to connect is so we can get data. You can see that. You can see for yourself. Okay. I just connected. Instantly, as I connected, you can see that. Instantly, as I connected, GNS goes to 1,000 shares. 1,000 shares sends GNS to 0.865. You can see that. Instantly, GNS is sent to 0.865. Instantly, can see that. Instantly, as I connected. Okay. GNS is sent to 0.865 with 1,000 shares. Volume is 23,000 shares. 23K shares. You can see that? Volume is 23,000 shares. And then you can see the AHT is 380 shares. 3,807 shares. Okay? 3,807 shares. Okay? 3,807 shares. Okay? Let me make sure we put this on record. You can see this. So this stock, you can see that this stock was exactly, you can see that where it is. This stock was exactly where it is now at 22,000 shares. 22,000 shares. I started logging on the computer and I thought, of course, we captured all this in here, but I wanted to put that inside the video. And so I went and tweeted about it. You can see the tweet that I just generated. You can see the tweet. So I just generated this tweet and we're going to use this in court to show the continued invasion of my computers. I have been away from the computer since yesterday as I was working. And then so this morning, as you can, let me show you, you can see that. You can see no trading on this. So as soon as my computer started turning on, the criminals instantly took only 800 shares to take GNS from 0.84 to 0.865. I went and started tweeting. As soon as I started tweeting about it, they dropped GNS back down to where it is now. You can see the volume. You can see that. They dropped it back down to where it is now. And then if you look at the AHT, you will see that there is no trading going on the AHT. You can see that for yourself. 4,701 shares. You can see that. Okay. You can see that for yourself. So, so this is where we are, and I'm going to go to stock tweets to get the data to back up what I just said. Thank you.
I have spoken to Leverkusen fans, and they just sort of have this grin on their face. They're just like, yeah, I think it's a bit of a fairy tale for them. They're still they're pinching themselves. For example, last season when they went on this amazing run, so many times they looked down and out. So many times they were going into the 85th, 95th minute even, trailing or drawing, and then they managed to either get the draw or win. And it happens so many times. It's not a coincidence. It's just the utter belief of that team, and the fans are just loving every second of it. I think there is a realism there. They understand that this season isn't going to be the same. They know that they have the likes of Bayern Munich domestically who will be looking to retake the crown off them. So they're realistic in the fact that they understand last season was a magical fairy tale, but this season they have their feet firmly on the ground and they understand that they'll be in for another tough battle.
Well, Leverkusen's domestic rivals Bayern Munich face Aston Villa later on. Vincent Kompany's men drew 1-1 with Leverkusen in the Bundesliga on Saturday. Kompany was a surprise choice to take over Bayern. Last Last season, he was in charge of English Premier League team Burnley, who were relegated out of the division.
I don't come here carrying, but it's different players tomorrow, it's different clubs, it's a different context, different situation, different season, and then you have to leave it a little bit. The day of the only vice presidential debate.
Can see that? Can see that? Suddenly, in order to generate some volume, they dropped in, you can see that? They dropped in 15,000 shares to take it to 0.70 and back. You can see that? They dropped in 15,000 shares to take it to 0.70 and back. You can see that? You can see that? Now let's look at this. No trading going on NRDE. You can see that. You can see the time. Okay. Okay. No trading going on. And then let me show you this. You can see this. This is not this. Let's see this. You can see this. 27,280 shares is the volume on GNS. You can see that 27,280 shares is the volume, and as soon as I touched it, it drops. You can see that as soon as I touched it, it dropped right back down. You can see that 28,030 shares. You can see that as soon as I touched it, it dropped right back down. You can see the time. You can see the time 9:55. Okay, and then you can see this 19,950 shares. Okay, time 9:55 a.m. Can see that? Can see that? Can see GNS 0.857, and you can see AHT 0.717. This was immediately after I sent a tweet to the criminal division of the DOJ. And let me make sure I capture that. Watch what happens now. It drops as I touched it. You can see that 34,460. You can see that 34,460. And you can see AHT. You can see that 27,600. You can see that 27,600. 34,460. You can see this. You can see the NRDE 46 shares. You can see that 46 shares. They dropped in 46 shares to take it from 160 to 155. You can see that for yourself. You can see instantly as I touched that, you can see that it goes to 0.28. It goes to 0.72, and then you can see the volume 28,200. You can see that for yourself. You can see that. Okay, and that's because if you look here, you see I just disconnected my internet. If you see here, see that internet is off. I just disconnected the internet. You can see the time 10:16 a.m. because I need to go walk, and instantly you can see that. That's what you're looking at. Okay, thank you. That's in this stocks, the GNS has been exactly where it is for the past. I went out for the past 30 minutes, and then the AHT has been down where it is. They just they dropped the NRDE with 46 shares and brought it right back up and painted it green. You can see that. I'll make sure capture the time. The time should be showing here, and they should be showing here while I go back to work. It's a busy day for me. Okay, thank you. But I also want to capture this on the side. Instantly, you can see that. Instantly, they drop it. You can see that. You can see the time. Instantly, it's been exactly here. Exactly, the GNS has been see that. Instantly, they drop it to 0.84 as soon as I drop the phone. You can see that. You see me from the camera right here. You can see that. Instantly, they drop it to 0.84 as soon as I drop the phone. I see that. Instantly, they drop it to 0.84 as soon as I drop the phone. So, and I intentionally left this camera open so they can see me from it. You can see that. The NYC runs this app. See that? You can see the volume, 43,000 shares. I'm going to show you this one so you can see. You can see suddenly, you can see AHT goes from 0.718 where it has been since I went outside to tender the garden. You know, it goes to 0.72. So they keep rotating that back and forth. Remember, they dropped this with 46 shares. See that? And then they used 20 shares to bring it back to 160. See total volume 59,000 shares. I'm making these videos so short right now so they can be easy for investigators to watch instead of the 3-hour, 2-hour videos I make in the past. And so I just get the relevant stuff and turn it off. Okay, can see that? Okay, but I intentionally leave this because found out that leaving this open helps for them to see what I'm doing and actually add to it. We need the data. Okay, thank you. It's an open crime now, so there's nothing to hide in it. Time 10:32 a.m. Sure, you can see that. You can see that. The time now is 10:40 a.m. Let me touch this. You can see as soon as I touch, you can see that. As soon as I grab my phone, you can see that. As soon as I grab my phone, it's returned. As soon as I grab my phone, you can see that. You can see that instantly. It's returned to 0.868. Let me show you. 45,420 shares. You can see that. This is priceless. You know, so you can see that as soon as I grab my phone, you know, it's been at 0.84. You can see the time. Remember the last time I did the update here? It's been at 0.84 since the last time I did the update. More than 40 minutes later, as soon as I grab my phone, it goes from 0.84 to 0.868. You can see that, and with no trading going on, you can see that 45,555 shares. Now let's see the AHT. You can see that. Okay, you can see that clearly showing that the market makers pricing these stocks are not in the iPhone as well as in the phone that I use for the recording. You can see that. I don't need to draw the conclusion. You can draw the conclusion by watching the video. Okay, thank you. Time now 10:41 a.m. 10/2/2024. I will not make this video long because this definitely will play to the jury. Time 10:45 a.m. Remember from 84 to 0.868. Let me touch it again so it goes back. Apparently I just spoke. It didn't do that. I shouldn't have spoken, but we will get there. Oh, okay. We got something else. Look, see the NRDE? It goes from 59 shares to 61 shares, and they use the 3 shares to drop it from 160 to 155. So I still got something. So total volume on the NRDE is 61 shares. Total volume 61 shares. As at 10:46 a.m., 1 hour into trading on October 2, 2024. Okay. Total volume on AHT is 56,830 shares. See that? Total volume on GNS is 45,550 shares. Thank you. Make sure we capture this. This video must be very short, like the one we got yesterday. That way we make them usable. Thank you. Time now is 11 a.m. Can see that? Watch what happens. Can see that? 0.861. Can see that? 0.861 on GNS, 0.721 on AHT. I'm gonna touch it. They are already seeing me, but you can see that 50,800 shares. You can see that on GNS. Let me touch this for you to see. You can see that 64,210 shares on AHT. Let me touch this for you to see. 61,000 shares. You can see that. Okay. I clearly see that. Time now 11.01 a.m. 11.01 a.m. 11.01 a.m. You can see that. This is the iPhone. This is the watch, please. Time is 11.01 a.m. Thank you. I see that. I see the time. 11:33 a.m. 11:33 a.m. You can see NRDE 1.67. You can see AHT 0.727, and you can see GNS 0.867. As a matter of fact, there was a time I was going to pull some data from AHT. As I was doing that, instantly was about the time, exactly the time that the criminals had taken it to 0.73, and they thought I was I was interested in the number, and they quickly dropped it from 0.73 to 0.727, where it is now. When in fact I wasn't actually looking for that number. That would be around 11:26 a.m. the very first time that the stock came to 0.73. But I still got the data, clean data right now. Let me show you the numbers on. Let me start with the NRDE, AHT. Okay, the AHT, you can see that 74,000 shares. 74,000 shares. That's the data there. Let me show you the data on. You can see that. This is the data on GNS. 57,000 shares. As I write this, there are no shares available to be shorted. I have downloaded that data, and that data will be provided in court, which means that the only people that are shorting the stock at this time are market makers. Let me also, because they are the ones that don't have to, borrow a stock in order to short it. Now, if you look here, you can see 249 shares on NRDE. You can see the chart right there. 249 shares on NRDE for the entire trading session. The stock has gone from 155 to 167 with that number. And you can see where it is. And like I said, for the GNS, there are only one people that can sell it right now, and they are the market makers or owners of the stock. Not a single person that is short on the stock can sell it as at today. As a matter of fact, from 2 days earlier, there's only about 20,000 shares that were available to short in the stock today. The market makers are the only ones that have an exception to sell the stock without actually borrowing it. And so I needed to put that in here. It's a commonplace thing, but I needed to put that data in here. You can see, as I started talking, AHT suddenly changes to 0.731. But we collected the data that we need. And I'm going to keep this video short because definitely this is one of the videos that will play to the jury, and I don't want it to be too long. Time now is 11:36 a.m. October 2, 2024. The time is also showing in the iPhone that is hacked, 11:36 a.m. October 2, 2024 by the criminals. Okay? Thank you. You can see suddenly immediately after the video, I went down to get coffee. By the time I came back, you can see where it is. It drops to. You can see that. And as I grab the camera, see that? They're dropping 1,000 shares on NRDE. You can see that. For the first time. Time now is 11:41. You can see that right there. 11:41. I see that. For the first time, they're dropping 1,000 shares on NRDE. You can see that. 1,000 shares dropped on NRDE. You can see as I grab this. You can see that. You can see that. You can see the volume on on GNS. I am logged off of the internet right now, to be able to get the third-party stuff that I used to color what I do, but I'll be able to get it whenever I log in. But you can see that as soon as 0.722, as soon as I came in, it goes to 0.723. You can see that. Okay, you can see that. And then, yep, got that. See, as I immediately I said 0.723, 0.723, they dropped the GNS. You can see that. They dropped the GNS to 0.863. You can see the volume, 63,000 shares. Okay, you can see that. 63,000 shares. Video is 20 minutes long now, but it's dense with data, and I want to keep it that way. Thank you. Want to catch more data? See that? Let me touch this so they can continue working. Can see that? 63,800 shares. I have just made a tweet in response to an SEC tweet about market manipulation and the imposition of fine to TD broker. I just logged in to refresh, grab some data, and then do that. You can see instantly. You can see the NRDE volume they've now added another 4,000 shares on it. You can see that 5,740 shares. You can see that. Okay. Time 11:56 a.m. Time is 11:56 a.m. You can see that. 11:56 a.m. That's the time. 11:56 a.m. Here's where we are. See that? Here's where we are. As soon as I grab my phone, you can see that. 0.79. You can see that. 109,000 shares. You can see that. And 0.864. Look, 67,000 shares. That's the volume. 67,100 shares. That's the volume. You can see that for yourself. Time 12:21 p.m. 12:21 p.m. 12:21 p.m. I just made a tweet. See that? See that? I just made a tweet which I downloaded, and you can see for the first time following that tweet, the GNS goes to 0.87. You can see the volume, 70,000 shares. You can see that? 70,000 shares. 70,000 shares. For the first time following that tweet, GNS goes to 0.87. Volume, 70,000 shares. You can see that? 70,000 shares. And look at the AHT. It's still exactly where it is at 114,000 shares. You can see that? Okay. And then the NRDE. See that? 5,900 shares. Okay. Thank you. Can see that? The tweet I just made and I posted to a couple of people, I will be printing and I will use it for the litigation. Thank you. For the first time, you can see the time, 12:42 p.m. 12:42 p.m. The last tweet that I made was around 12:37 p.m. And for the very first time for the entire trading session, AHT goes to 0.87. See that? 0.87. Only the market makers. There's no volume available to be shorted on GNS. There's not a single volume share available. The only market players that can short any stock that doesn't have any volume available to be shorted are market makers. The defendants, and all the defendants in GNS are defendants in my lawsuit. All the market makers are defendants in the lawsuit. And as soon as I trade it, it goes to 0.87. Thank you. Time now, 12:43 p.m. October 2, 2024. Volume 70,000 shares. For the first time, GNS goes to 0.88. Time now is 12:59. It has actually gone there earlier, shortly after I went and tweeted. For the first time, it goes to 0.88. And you can see AHT, for the first time, it goes to 0.733. I'm going to show you the volume because this is being pleaded. You can see that it's only 4,740 shares. 4,740 shares takes it to 0.88, and the AHT, they added 3,000 more to go to 0.733. Can see that? 0.733. Can see that? I had just tweeted a few minutes ago regarding the suppression of trading on this stock, on GNS, and I have put the information in here. You can see that I have put the information in this spreadsheet to be able to capture this data. You can see that. So immediately after I did that, you can see where we are. For the first time, both GNS and AHT are trading positively today, and there's no volume on GNS. Volume on GNS is 0.88, and the volume on AHT is 0.73. The volume on GNS is 74,700 shares, and the volume on GNS is 117,200 shares, and both of them are trending up at the same time. I'm gonna go get the Twitter information, and I'll use it as an exhibit in this lawsuit. You can see 0.888. You can see that 0.888 and 0.738. I just logged on right now and I pulled up an opinion from StockTweets investors in AHT talking about the company. I will be using that as an exhibit in this case. You can see that, and you can see time now 1:08 p.m. 1:08 p.m. Again, I'm keeping this video recording very short so it can be able to be played to the jury. Okay, thank you. Again, today is October 2, 2024. Time now is 1:09 p.m. See GNS, can see the time. Time now is 1:31 p.m. 1:31 p.m. 1:31 p.m. You can see that 1:31 p.m. GNS goes to 0.905. AHT held flat at 0.738, and then NRDE drops to 1.52. Let me show you the volume on GNS. You can see that for yourself. Suddenly it goes to 102,000 shares. 102,000 shares. You see that? 102,000 shares from the time I made my tweet at 12:40. I made a tweet about 55 minutes ago. Prior to then, there was no trading on GNS. You can see as soon as I touch this, you can see that it goes to 0.746. This is the highest that it has gone today. You can see the time. It was at 0.738 when I opened this app. Exactly, you can see it goes back to 0.738. So they took it to 0.748 to acknowledge that they are in this computer, and they see what I'm doing. Time now 1:32 p.m. 1:32 p.m. and look, you can see that they doubled the volume on the NRDE to take it to 150. Volume is now 13,790. Yesterday, it had less than 1,000 shares of volume. You can see that AHT, you can see that it goes to 0.74 and it drops right back. It goes to 0.74, it drops right back. You can see that for yourself. Less than 50,000 shares have traded on GNS. Less than 50,000 shares has traded on GNS for an issue that has 100% of its float shorted. Thank you. With Amanda, as soon as I started using the phone to talk to my daughter, see that? For the first time, GNS goes to 0.931. You can see that. And AHT is also matched. You can see both of them matched at 0. AHT is matched at 0.732. See that? So GNS, you see the code on the GNS, 0.931. That's the code for GNS. And then AHT, the code is 0.732. Let me show you the volume for you to see that there's no trading going on at 37,000 shares of coverage. You see that? 37,000 shares of coverage. Okay. And then for the AHT, you can see that. So essentially both of them are marked at the same volume. The volume on AHT and the volume on GNS are identical. AHT 142,000 shares, you can see that. GNS 137,000 shares, you can see that. And that zero, see that, as I started talking, you can see that it drops to 0.92. You can see that. As I started talking, it drops to 0.92. Okay, I see that. As you can see the time, 2 p.m. See that? 2 p.m. Yes, you can see that. Further, it drops to 0.90. You can see that. 137,000, 1,000 shares drop it to 0.90. You can see that from 0.932. You can see that. 1,000 shares drops it to 0.90. And AHT still exactly where it was. Okay. Okay. And then the NRDE, see that they're padding the volume, 13,900 shares. No trading going on it. Okay. Time now is 2:01 p.m. 2:01 p.m. I return to work. No rest for the wicked. See that? See that? 1,000 shares dropped it earlier. Consider still exactly where it was. No movement. No movement. Remember? Time is 2:06. It just changed to 2:07 p.m. 2:06. Okay. Now the AHT, the big one, 144,000. We have a lot of data on these two stocks, and we'll be presenting them in coming days. Thank you. Watch what happens. You can see GNS 0.922, the same place it was after the tweets at 12:40. You can see AHT 0.74. You can see NRDE exactly the same place it was. Now let's do this. You can see the time is 3:15 p.m. right? 3:15 p.m. Let's do this to get them to work. I just touched this. You can see that. You can see GNA. You can see that. 144,000. Remember, it was exactly this price. Almost like over an hour, almost 2 hours ago. It's still the same price. 144,000 shares. Let's see this. You can see the GNS. I mean the AHT. You can see that. The volume. 143,400 shares. Let's make sure we get this in perspective. The GNS is 144,300 shares. That's the GNS. You can see that at 3:16 p.m. And the AHT is 143,400 shares at 3:16 p.m. Okay, and the what do I call it? The NRDE is 13,990 shares at 3:16 p.m. You can see the time right there. Okay, I only looked because the recording device, the battery was just going to drop, and so I had to plug it on. Otherwise, I am actually not looking. You can see that? Okay, you see that? Thank you. Okay, so let me show you guys, see where you are. I'm going to touch this and then see what happens to it. It's 0.91 right now. You can see that 157,000 shares. I just logged on to this and I'm going to collect the data. Again, you can see that 157,000 shares. You can see that 157,000 shares. The AHT, you can see that. You can see AHT 155,000 shares. You can see that. Identical volume on both of them. You can see that. Identical volume on both of them. And you can see the criminals suddenly 22,700 shares goes in here. Share going here. Yesterday it was only less than 1,000 shares that showed up on here. But you can see where it is now, 22,700 shares. Okay? And this is where we are. See that? Okay? See that? So I just logged in. And as usual, I'm gonna try and grab some data of what I see what I can get. See, I missed this one. Let's see whether I can get this printed. Oh, I can't get enough of this. But let me see this. See that? Okay, so here's where we are. You can see that. You can see that. You see where it closed. Exactly where it was before. You can see that. I'm gonna show you. See now. I'm gonna show you the volume. Time now is 4 p.m. You can see that. Time now is 4 p.m. 4 p.m. If you look here, you will see that 169,100 shares. You can see that. 169,100 shares. 169,100 shares. That's the number that we see here to close it. And you can see from when it started moving up, exactly when I made that tweet. You can see that for you, for yourself. And then let's get off here, and then we'll come here. You see this 174,000 shares, 174,200 shares. You can see that 174,200 shares. You can see that, and then the GNS, the NRDE, suddenly. You see that? You can see the number. Okay, you see the number. That's where we are. You see that? The market has closed. They were going to close both of them at 0.94. I wanted to capture it, but I changed my mind. That was at 4.59. 4.59. I changed my mind on that. I didn't capture that data. As usual, NYS, these two stocks trade on the NYSE. The number doesn't come in until 5 minutes after the market closes, and so I will try to correlate that data before I shut down the video. So I'm going to wait until 4.05, maybe 4.06, collect the final data, and then I'll shut down the video. Thank you. It is a member, it is an important energy exporter. You can see that? You can see that? You can see GNS 0.935. This is the number. Time now is 4.15 p.m. So the numbers have come in, and if you look at the numbers right now, you see it. You can see that? So somebody dropped in 20,000 towards the end of the day to get it here. You can see where it closed, 0.935. You can see that? And then the AHT, you can see that? Can see that? Can see that? 0.738. See that? 0.738. Can see that? 0.73, and this is 0.935. And then the, see that? The NRDE. See that? You can see the NRDE. See that? So this is where we are on the three stocks. Okay? GNS closed, they closed the GNS at 0.935. AHT, they closed it at 0.738. Going to tweet about that now. Yeah, I just started. You can see, remember, it was just 0.93. This was just 0.935. If you look there, as I am doing a tweet, you can see that. You can see the time here. You can see the time. I started doing the tweet. As soon as I started doing the tweet and they're reading it, they dropped it after hours to 0.90. You can see that for yourself. You can see that. You can see that. I am still doing the tweet. The tweet. You can see. If you look at the tweet, you can see the tweet. Time now 4:15 p.m. See my first email regarding manipulation by cyber criminals parading as market makers in AHT. The criminals closed GNS at 0.935. Wait. I was just typing wait. I came in to see the number. As soon as I came on to see this number, 189,100, I saw also that the number that I saw up here, that was 0.935 just before I left, is now dropped to 0.90. Okay, 0.90. And so I just submitted the last tweet. As I was submitting the tweet at exactly 4:17, the criminals, you can see that, the criminals dropped. You can see that. You can see that from 90 to 0.958. You can see that. The criminals dropped. You can see that. The criminals dropped GNS to 0.90. You can see that. You can see where it is now, 0.958. I just submitted that tweet and the tweet is up. And tomorrow we'll see. We'll see where this goes. Okay? But the case is full steam ahead. I am actually surprised where I am, and we thank God for everything. You know, we thank God for being able to expose criminals that thought that we are weak, powerless, and will run down to some shitholes. They are now running to the shitholes. Thank you. Thank you. I made this video very short, 42 minutes, and I want to keep it that way. Have a good night. Till tomorrow.